Chapter 15. Chapter 15. I am the owner of this shop. What's going on? Is someone causing trouble? Two security guards charged up aggressively. Exactly, these two people just started hitting someone. Everyone around saw it. Wang Chuan accused first, extending her wrist. Look, I still have bruises on my wrist. Sir, could you please explain? The floor manager, seasoned in these matters, could tell at a glance that there had been some conflict and dispute between the two men. Of course, she wasn't going to take Wang Chuan's word for it and assume it was Fang Jueyu and Cheng Kai causing the disturbance. Hello, my friend and I came here to eat. Not only did this person make sarcastic remarks, but he even tried to hit us. I was simply acting in self-defense, Fang Jueyu said calmly. If you don't believe me, you can check the surveillance footage. Then everything will be clear. Wang Chuan's face changed immediately. He had forgotten about the CCTV cameras. If the footage was reviewed, his actions would undoubtedly be seen as unjustifiable. Do you let just any kind of customers in for a restaurant with a reputation like this? Wang Chuan seemed to have concluded that the two couldn't afford to eat here. Look, the total value of their outfits wouldn't cover the cost of a meal here. It's obvious they've come to cause trouble. The floor manager's gaze swept over the two. Wang Chuan puffed out his chest, intentionally or unintentionally showing off the Rolex on his wrist, and he was indeed clad in designer brands. In contrast, Fang Jueyu and Cheng Kai's entire outfits together probably didn't cost as much as one of Wang Chuan's shirts. Their financial capability was truly questionable. Whether we can afford to eat here is none of your business, right? Fang Jueyu was almost amused by the anger. Even if they couldn't afford it, he had never seen a restaurant throw out customers. If they actually did that, the restaurant's reputation could be ruined. Fang, let's leave it. These two are too nauseating. Let's go somewhere else, Cheng Kai whispered to Fang Jueyu. However, Wang Chuan immediately overheard this comment and thought they were backing down, so he became even bolder. See, they're planning to run off now. Isn't that proof they can't afford it and just came here to pick a fight? Wang Chuan boasted triumphantly. Heh, can't afford to eat. Fang Jueyu felt he had perhaps been too low-key. He turned to the floor manager. Excuse me, how should I address you? I am the floor manager of this establishment. My name is Bai, Manager Bai said courteously. For some reason, she felt this young man wasn't ordinary, despite his unremarkable appearance. I'd like to dine here right now, is that possible? Fang Jueyu asked. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but our restaurant is fully booked. Manager Bai thought Fang Jueyu was trying to prove he could afford to dine here, but a proper meal for two could likely cost over 1,000 yuan, which seemed extravagant for average college students. Not just her, but many onlookers also really believed that Fang Jueyu was putting on a brave face. Even if he really paid, they suspected he would have to get by on instant noodles for the rest of the month. Really, if I'm not mistaken, this restaurant should have reserved some special seats for guests with particular statuses, right? Well, Manager Bai's face changed at once. There is an unwritten rule in the mid to high-end restaurant industry. Fang Jueyu was right. The restaurant indeed reserved a few seats, but ordinary people were not entitled to use them. It's okay, I know your reserved seats aren't for just anyone. Give me 2 minutes, I need to make a call. Just now, Fang Jueyu learned something interesting through Zhao Yi. Fang Jueyu took out his phone and dialed Zhuang Ying's number. Young master, what's up? Do you need help with something? Zhuang Ying was having lunch, and as his personal assistant, she also got to enjoy the food from this excellent team of chefs. Sister Ying, I need a favor. My friend and I are at Bartolo Spanish Art Restaurant on Ziyuan Road, but it's full here. Could you talk to the owner for me? Just this little thing. Zhuang Ying didn't take it to heart at all. Your father should have given you a black card by now, right? As long as you show that card, anyone with a bit of awareness will offer you the highest level of service. Oh, Fang Jueyu didn't know that the card had this function. It seems you're not aware, though the card might not necessarily have a lot of money in it. It represents a certain status, Zhuang Ying explained. At least in the whole Jiangnan city, there wouldn't be more than 10 people with such a black card, including the party secretary of Jiangnan City. You understand what I mean, don't you? This card actually has that kind of effect. Let alone Jiangnan City, even in Yanjing, anyone doing business would want to give you face, so this little matter isn't even worth bothering their boss over. Ha, actually there is another private matter I want to deal with. Fang Jueyu lowered his voice. Not hiding anything from you. I've run into an ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend here, and they're mocking me for not being able to afford a meal. Is that so? Zhuang Ying was amused to the point of being delighted. With Fang Jueyu's wealth, there wasn't anything in this world he couldn't afford. All right, give me 2 minutes. HMPH, such pretense. Seeing Fang Jueyu put down his phone, Wang Xuan started to nag again. Manager Bai, you might receive a phone call in a minute. Manager Bai looked confused. Who would call her? Sure enough, in less than 2 minutes, Manager Bai's phone rang, and the caller ID showed it was none other than the owner of this very restaurant. She couldn't help but give Fang Jueyu another look before answering the call. Boss Su, what do you need? Little Bai, the headquarters just called me on an international line. Did a young man come to your branch? There are 2 of them but before she could finish, Boss Su immediately interrupted her. That young man named Fang Jueyu, you absolutely cannot offend him. Whatever he asks for, satisfy it. He emphasized again, remember all requests. If he's not satisfied, it's not just about you losing your job. Our branch won't be able to continue, and even the head office would be in trouble. I understand. Manager Bai's voice trembled slightly. Though the branch was valuable, it certainly wasn't much in the eyes of the wealthy. But this restaurant's headquarters was a huge catering group based in Spain, with industries in many countries around the world. It wasn't something that could just collapse. Could it be that this average-looking young man actually had such formidable power behind him? Excuse me, are you Mr. Fang Jueyu? Manager Bai hung up the phone and immediately adopted a respectful attitude. Yes, that's me, Fang Jueyu nodded. My apologies for the inattentiveness earlier. Please allow us to arrange a seat for you immediately. This way, please. Just a moment. What do you mean? We arrived first. Why are you arranging a seat for him first? Wang Chuan hadn't realized what was going on and immediately spoke up in dissatisfaction. On what basis? Fang Jueyu sneered. Because I am the owner of this restaurant. Is that sufficient? Chapter 16. Chapter 16. Help me drive them out. Just now, while the 2 were arguing, Zhao Yi had already informed Fang Jueyu that this Bartolo Spanish art restaurant was part of the Spanish Bartolo chain catering group, which Fang Jueyu controlled 92% of the shares. As for the remaining 8% of the shares, it wasn't that they couldn't be acquired, but rather, the group had rewarded this portion to individuals who had made significant contributions to the group. Even if he wanted 100% ownership, privatizing the entire group would be an easy task for Fang Jueyu. The Bartolo Spanish art restaurant was a relatively flagship part of this group. All the storefronts were directly surveyed and selected for location by the headquarters, and all the staff members were merely involved in management and service. Therefore, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that everything from this particular storefront to the entire Bartolo chain catering group belonged to him alone. The management right of that part of the Bartolo chain catering group was entrusted to the Zhuang family, so a call from Zhuang Ying nearly scared the headquarters to death. It was an honor for the owner to dine at one of his own restaurants. How could there possibly be no seats? You're the owner of this restaurant, Wang Xuan laughed. Nowadays, the legal representatives in the catering industry are required to display all certifications prominently in the lobby, but the name on the business license is someone named Su Gayaway. When did you change your surname to Su? Aren't you a Fang? Oh, I mean the Fang with the grass radical. Wang Chuan's words were a double entendre, blatantly mocking that Fang Jueyu had been cuckolded, linking seamlessly. Any normal person would realize that these 2 must have known each other for quite some time. It was the first time Fang Jueyu's gaze revealed a menacing aura. It was a shame that this was a society governed by law, otherwise, he would certainly rush up and give Wang Chuan a severe beating. However, for some people, certain things can be more painful than getting beaten. You don't believe me? Fang Jueyu smiled. Manager Bai, do me a favor and kick these 2 out. From now on, these 2 are never allowed to enter this restaurant again. Yes, Manager Bai remembered very clearly. Just now Manager Su had ordered her to fulfill all of Fang Jueyu's requests. Security, get these troublemakers out of here. Wang Chuan, what should we do? Zhang Yuan suddenly panicked. If the 2 of them were thrown out like this, they might become a joke at school. After all, many people around this school knew Wang Chuan, and with a little investigation, her identity as Zhang Yuan would naturally be widely known. You still want to do business? Wang Chuan appeared unfazed. This is the first time I've heard of someone wanting to drive customers out. Aren't you afraid of damaging your future reputation? Manager Bai, we've already gone to retrieve the surveillance footage. A waiter whispered to Manager Bai. The altercation did indeed start with the gentleman who brought his girlfriend, and he was also the first to act. Good, that makes it easy. Manager Bai smiled gently. As long as they were in the right, there was nothing to fear. We naturally welcome normal consumers, but we have zero tolerance for troublemakers, Manager Bai said. We've already gathered the surveillance footage. We have evidence that you provoked verbally first and the gentleman also acted first. If you have any complaints, you can report to the business administration. Wang Chuan knew he was at a disadvantage. Even if he caused trouble for others, as long as this clip was shown, no one could fault anything about it. Although Wang Chuan was a second-generation rich, his father was just a shareholder of Daegu Ticketing, so his name might not be recognized by many, creating a feeling of being powerless at this moment. How about it, are you angry? Fang Jueyu suddenly sported a playful smirk. I know you're rich, but what can you do? This store is mine. If you really can, why don't you buy this restaurant then? Wang Chuan looked at Fang Jueyu, who seemed to be asking for a beating, and nearly couldn't resist hitting him again. However, considering his monstrous strength and the two vigilant security guards, he had to forcefully hold himself back. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. Not only is this restaurant mine, but the entire Bartolo chain is also mine. If you want to buy this place, you'd have to buy the whole group first. Wang Chuan's face turned from blue to purple. He wasn't quite sure of the market value of the entire Bartolo chain. It might not compare to globally renowned groups like Michelin, but a publicly listed group in both the ticketing and dining sectors was definitely incomparable. Manager Bai, I'll leave it to you. Fang Jueyu gestured and followed a waiter towards the reserved VIP seating in the restaurant. Would you two like to leave on your own, or should I have the security escort you out? Even when kicking them out, Manager Bai still maintained a smile. It seemed there was a reason why Bartolo chain had grown so big. Look, this guy thinks he can bully people just because he has some money. He's met his match this time, hasn't he? If it were me, I'd find a hole to crawl into. Right? It looked like he stole someone's girlfriend. PSH, if you ask me, that woman is just a gold digger. I heard it just now. The poor girl thought the young man was broke. Now she's really embarrassed. Haha, serves her right. HMPH, we can leave on our own. The surrounding criticisms made them even more embarrassed, and staying any longer would only make things more awkward. Wang Chuan stormed out, leaving Zhang Yuan behind. Wang Chuan, wait for me. Zhang Yuan picked up her purse and hurried after him. What's going on? Didn't you tell me that Fang Jueyu was just a poor kid from an ordinary family? Wang Chuan, full of anger and not knowing where to vent, took it all out on Zhang Yuan. I didn't know either, Zhang Yuan replied pitifully. When he was with me, he could only afford gifts by doing part-time jobs outside. I never knew his family was that rich. Humph, it's not that simple. Wang Chuan hadn't suffered such a big loss before. Rich, huh? I want to see just how capable you are. Wang Chuan, what are you going to do? Don't do anything rash. What, you still care about him? Wang Chuan roared furiously. No, not at all. We broke up a long time ago. How could I possibly? Zhang Yuan wasn't worried about what Wang Chuan would do to Fang Jueyu. She knew Wang Chuan was too competitive. She was just worried that if Wang Chuan went too far, it might backfire on her. Don't worry, I know my limits. I just want to teach him a lesson. Chapter 17. Chapter 17. Is 100 million enough? The restaurant had arranged for us a very special spot, a place nearly every customer would notice first upon entering, yet it didn't stick out too much within the entire restaurant. Mr. Fang, here is your menu. The waiter brought over an exquisite booklet, and Fang Jueyu noticed that this menu seemed different from those of the other customers, likely prepared especially for him. 2 tomahawk steaks, medium well, 1 Argentine prawn dish, 1 serving of foie gras. The price of each dish could make a college student sweat coldly, but for Fang Jueyu now, it felt like nothing. The ingredients in last night's bowl of seafood noodles probably cost much more than this entire meal. He knew Cheng Kai would be too embarrassed to order, so he took the liberty and ordered for both of them, of course, making sure not to order more than what 2 people could finish. That'll do, please bring it as quickly as possible. Fang Jueyu felt like he had just heard Cheng Kai's stomach growl. Rest assured, we will arrange it for you as quickly as possible. The waiter bowed and took off. Holy shit, Fang Jueyu, you kept us in the dark so bad. As soon as the waiter left, Cheng Kai instantly let out a howl like he was about to devour Fang Jueyu. 3 years as roommates and we had no idea you were so rich, that you could be such a tycoon and still always borrow money from a poor guy like me. You. Calm down, calm down. Fang Jueyu pushed Chen Kai back down. Didn't I tell you? I only recently found out that my family had so much money I wasn't pretending before. Looking at Chen Kai's skeptical expression, Fang Jueyu added again. Think about it, in these 3 years, have you seen me splurging or driving luxury cars to school every day? That's true, Chen Kai thought about it carefully. Fang Jueyu had indeed been quite ordinary over the past 3 years. Even if he were pretending, it's hard to keep up the act for so long without slipping up. Come on, give your brother a scoop. How much exactly does your family have? Chen Kai asked cautiously, as if afraid people nearby might overhear. Fang Jueyu shook his head. What if I say I myself don't even know how much money I have? Would you believe it? Chen Kai shook his head. Obviously, no one would believe such a statement. Wait, that Jiangnan villa you guys mentioned just now, what exactly is that place? Chen Kai suddenly remembered the flashpoint of the clash between Fang Jueyu and Wang Xuan. Oh, that's the villa area just over 3 kilometers from our school. Remember Ding Minghui asked about it during our dorm dinner last time. The real estate prices in that area must be high, right? Chen Kai stretched out 5 fingers. Are they as much as this amount? About that, but for my family's house, you'd have to add another finger. 60,000. Chen Kai breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that wasn't too exaggerated. No, what I mean is, add another finger on the tens digit. Holy shit, 150,000. Robbery. If not for being in the restaurant, Chen Kai would have almost slammed the table. In my hometown, 150,000 could buy an entire house in some remote areas. I remember they sell villas in that place, right? How big is your place? It must cover at least 400 square meters of floor area. Chen Kai started calculating in his head, and the string of zeros popping up made him feel faint. Stop calculating. When I have time, I'll take you guys to play at my place. Then you'll know. Fang Jueyu felt that if he let Chen Kai keep asking, it might be a blow to his confidence. After all, any single painting or decoration in the house might be worth more than the entire building. Old Fang, we made a pact 3 years ago. In riches do not forget each other. Now that you truly are rich, you can't forget about your brothers. Ha ha ha, of course. If you guys have any entrepreneurial ideas, just let me know. I'll definitely support you all the way. Although Fang Jueyu couldn't help everyone, he would absolutely support his roommates to the fullest. Deal, I've been waiting for you to say that. Chen Kai's face lit up with joy. To tell you the truth, we already have some ideas. Oh, Fang Jueyu suddenly became interested as well. In their dorm, he was the only one studying physics while the other 3 were computer science majors, and their favorite pastime was playing games. Let's hear it. Heh, buddy, I didn't waste these 3 years on games and chasing girls. While you were dating, we managed to create a prototype for a game. As long as it can be developed, it's sure to blow up the market. Ah, sighed Chen Kai, it's just too bad we lack the funds. We can't set up the servers for the game and we're also short on staff, so we had no choice but to give up. Otherwise, who would bother with this damn grad school? Would 10 million be enough for the initial investment? Chen Kai spat out the water he just sipped. Fang Jueyu casually mentioned 10 million as if it were nothing. Who could handle that? What's the matter? Not enough. Fang Jueyu didn't understand the gaming industry very well, but he was aware that developing a major game required substantial capital investment. How about 100 million then? Cough. Chen Kai coughed violently. Just how much money did Fang Jueyu's family have? No. It's not that it's not enough. The game we're working on is targeted at mobile users, so we don't need that much money to develop it. But you're ready to throw cash without even looking. Aren't you afraid we'll rip you off? Ha, I trust you guys, laughed Fang Jueyu. Besides, even if it fails and we lose money, that's all there is to it. Just start over. Right, you're incredible. Chen Kai was speechless. Is this how rich people do things? Saying it's okay to lose tens of millions as if it's nothing. Just sort out the game-related materials, and I'll arrange a time for my personal secretary to get in touch with you. If there are no issues, the funds can be made available immediately. Fang Jueyu added, however, I'll only handle the financing. You guys figure out the rest. Got it. As long as the money is there, nothing's a problem. The more they spoke, the more excited they became. Soon their food arrived, and with mouths full, they ended up muttering unintelligibly to each other. Having decided to continue with this game, Chen Kai also gave up on his plans for grad school, determined to put all his energy into the first step of his career. After a satisfying meal, Fang Jueyu headed straight back to his villa. Someone was coming over to tailor clothes for him that afternoon. Just as he got home, he received a call from someone he hadn't been in touch with for a long time. Jiang Yi, that's really not cool of you. After graduation, you've hardly called me. I'm always the one reaching out to you. What, got a sudden epiphany today? Fang Jueyu felt like he was back in the intense yet wonderful days of high school every time he spoke to this old deskmate. It's just that I heard you've had another breakup recently, so I thought I'd console you a bit. Although Jiang Yi said this, her tone wasn't the least bit consoling. All right, I know you well enough. I'd consider myself lucky if you didn't lay a curse on me. Please, just lift this scum girl curse from me. Ha ha ha, no kidding anymore. Let's talk business. Jiang Yi laughed twice and suddenly became serious. There's a school anniversary celebration for our high school in half a month. Our class teacher wants us to go back and take a look. Sure, that's it. We haven't seen each other in a while. It'll be good to catch up. Fang Jueyu was quite happy to hear the news. It's always great when we get together, but don't forget, some people in our class will definitely come back to show off. Be mentally prepared. New mission release. The voice of Zio Yi suddenly intervened. Mission requirements. Steal the show at the school celebration. Mission reward. Level 1 permission mission completion increased by 2%, and a reward of an item accidentally dropped by an ancestor. A smile subtly played on the corners of Fang Jueyu's mouth. Yes, there'd definitely be people coming back to show off, but this time he was going to be the brightest new star in the showboating universe. Chapter 18. Chapter 18 Royal Private Customization. In half a month my sports car should also be arriving. Since he had to show off, he wanted to do it in the most dazzling way possible, blinding everyone present. However, after much thought, he couldn't come up with a truly shocking method. Young master, I've brought someone to tailor clothes for you. While Fang Jueyu was deep in thought, Zhuang Ying entered with a blonde, blue-eyed, middle-aged foreigner who appeared to be a designer. Let me introduce him. This is Mr. Harem, the chief designer of George Blumore's high-end personal tailoring from the England royal family. Zhuang Ying introduced. All the garments used by the England royal family are designed by Mr. Harem. Damn, a royal designer from England. Fang Jueyu was again astonished. He had thought that Zhuang Ying might bring an internationally renowned design master to tailor for him, but he never imagined that she would bring over a royal designer from England. Fang Jueyu had never heard of George Blumore, nor did he know anything about it. But a designer privileged enough to design for the royal family must be unparalleled. Furthermore, with so many princes and princesses in the England royal family, those designers must be incredibly busy every day. To have the chief designer come all the way to Huaxia was surely enhancing his prestige too much, wasn't it? Zhuang Ying, is this George Blumore personal tailoring also owned by me? Fang Jueyu quietly asked. That's not the case, but your ancestors had quite a good relationship with the England royal family, so they were willing to share this private brand with us. Every tailor in our private factory was trained there, and Mr. Harem has also been our long-term chief consultant. Wow! Had Zhuang Ying told Fang Jueyu that the brand was his, it would have been one thing, but he accidentally heard another astonishing piece of information. Their family had a very good relationship with the England royal family. No wonder they could invite this chief designer. Mr. Harem, this is Mr. Fang Jueyu. We invited you here hoping you could design and make several suitable outfits for Mr. Fang. Mr. Harem's somewhat weathered face immediately filled with smiles. Initially, he was reluctant to take up the role of long-term senior consultant because of his age, and frequent flying was a huge challenge for his health. However, the Fang family offered him a deal he could not refuse, an annual salary of 5 million British pounds plus private plane transportation. All he needed to do was help train a batch of apprentices in the Fang family's private factory each year and occasionally produce some designs. Compared to what the England royal family offered, this was much better. Had he been able to change his nationality, he would have even considered being a full-time designer for the Fang family. Ever since the birth of Fang Jueyu, Fang Hua had never invited Harem to Huaxia again, until this time, when Harem came carrying a special mission. Mr. Fang, it has been a long time since I last saw you. You were just an infant in swaddling clothes at that time, Harem said politely. Mr. Harem, did you also design clothes for my parents? Fang Jueyu read a lot from that statement. Yes, but that was a very long time ago. I heard Mr. Fang Hua wanted you to lead an ordinary life, so it was kept secret for a long time. Now that he has handed all his assets to you, I was invited to come again. Mr. Harem, please don't be so formal. If we really calculate it, you are still my elder. By the way, the Queen of England asked me to pass on a message. The royal family and the Fang family haven't been in contact for many years. She invites you to visit England when you have time. Definitely, definitely. While Fang Jueyu appeared completely calm on the surface, his heart was pounding fiercely. An invitation from the Queen of England. Probably very few people in the world could boast of such prestige. Then let's begin. Harem first took measurements of Fang Jueyu's figure, then inquired about his preferred styles and designs. With years of experience, some initial ideas had already formed in his mind. By the way, Mr. Harem, there's no rush for the other clothes, but could you help me tailor a suit appropriate for public occasions, somewhat formal but not too ostentatious? I must confess, in half a month I'm attending my high school's anniversary celebration. Oh, that's a small matter. I might have to rush it a bit, but it shouldn't be a problem. Normally, it took Harem about a month to handcraft a suit. Having his usual timeline would indeed take up much of his time and energy, but if it could earn him the good favor of Fang Jueyu, it would certainly be worth it. Then I'll have to trouble you, Mr. Harem. With just a half-month left, Harem bid farewell to Fang Jueyu and immediately headed for the tailor workshop under Fang Jueyu's name. Mr. Fang, are you attending your high school's anniversary in half a month? Yes, it's our high school's 70th anniversary. The school has invited many well-known alumni, but will be going as other alumni, Fang Jueyu said with self-mocking laughter. Actually, such anniversaries were mostly about successful graduates showing off their achievements at their alma mater, with very few genuinely caring about the school. Young master, if you wish to become a notable alumnus, that would be an easy task. How could it be easy? Fang Jueyu sighed. First, I'm not the boss of any famous company, and second, I'm not a politician. Even though I have some money now, nobody knows me. Ha ha ha, that's simple. Just make a donation to your alma mater in your own name. Ah, how could I not have thought of that? Fang Jueyu exclaimed as he smacked his thigh. Be it famous entrepreneurs or political bigwigs, to his alma mater, what mattered more were the influence and benefits these alumni could bring. Though it was a harsh reality, it was undeniable that excellent facilities were an essential part of nurturing talent at the school. Sister Ying, how much cash is available in my account right now? The assets that I manage for you, including all domestic and foreign banks, have about 500 billion US dollars in liquid funds. What, how much? Fang Jueyu even thought he had heard wrong. 500 billion US dollars. Cough, cough, cough. Fang Jueyu didn't comprehend the scale of 500 billion US dollars, but he knew the world's richest person barely had assets worth just over 100 billion US dollars, and that included fixed assets, while his liquid funds were more than 4 times their total wealth. Wait, what do you mean, the part of the assets you manage? Young master, didn't you know? The Fang family's assets are divided into 7 parts, managed by 7 large organizations or families. The Zhuang family is responsible for just the smallest portion. You, stop, I'm getting dizzy. Fang Jueyu walked out to the balcony and took a deep breath to clear his head, feeling slightly better. He looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, trying hard not to burst into laughter. The life of the wealthy is as lonely as snow. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. First donate 10 buildings. After returning to his room and opening his email, Fang Jueyu indeed had received an invitation letter from his alma mater, Heihua, No. 2 High School. Dear class of 2016 alumnus, we sincerely invite you to attend the 70th anniversary of Heihua No. 2 High School. We await your arrival on July 21st. If you have any questions or need assistance, please contact the principal's office at 8,540,5740. There are still 17 days to go, so there's still time to prepare well. Fang Jueyu was determined to achieve a 2% task completion rate, so he was resolved to become the most dazzling person at the anniversary celebration. He picked up the phone and immediately dialed the principal's office. What to do? In the principal's office of Heihua No. 2 High School, a man in his 50s was looking at this year's college entrance examination results with a disheartened air. This man was the current principal of Heihua No. 2 High School, Zhu Ming. Although it was the final endpoint high school in Heihua City, Heihua No. 2 High School had always been under the heavy pressure of No. 1 High School, and this had been the case for decades. The status of eternal runner-up had almost never changed, yet now, even the position of the perennial runner-up seemed to be shaking. Number 3 high school had performed remarkably well in the college entrance examination this year, trailing behind only by 1 percentage point in the rate of students who made it to first-tier universities. Such a small gap was truly minimal. As an old and established endpoint high school, although number 2 high school's strength was not on par with number 1 high school in previous years, it had absolute dominance over the schools below it, and this situation made Zhu Ming feel deeply uneasy. Every year, the city government's education funding was limited, and naturally, number 1 high school took the lion's share, while the combined funding for all other high schools did not even reach half of that of number 1 high school. With such a cycle, the momentum of number 1 high school naturally grew stronger and stronger. Teaching staff strength, educational resources, hardware facilities, all these required funding, and schools other than number 1 high school had to find their own ways to bridge the funding gaps, besides the meager budget they were allocated. But schools are not profit-making institutions. How could they have the capacity to solve these funding shortages on their own? After making some inquiries, Zhu Ming learned that in recent years, number 3 high school had produced an exceptionally successful alumnus. He had struggled abroad for over a dozen years and founded a very large enterprise, which had gone public in the United States just last year. At last year's number 3 high school anniversary, this alumnus had donated 10 million yuan to assist the school's development, and that was why number 3 high school's momentum was so strong this year. After all these years, number 2 high school had also graduated some outstanding alumni who had succeeded in entrepreneurship, and there were quite a few who had made donations. But who could offer such a considerable amount of money? It was already a struggle just to fill some of the financial gaps for the school's normal development. If this continues, number 2 high school will soon be overtaken by number 3 high school. As the principal, Zhu Ming felt an unprecedented pressure. Looking at the report of grades, he seemed to have sprouted many more white hairs in an instant. This year marked the 70th anniversary of the school, and traditionally, every 10 years, a very solemn anniversary event is held. First, it serves to invite alumni to return home for a visit, and second, it is naturally hoped that these successful alumni who care for their alma mater will generously contribute to the school's development. Starting from several weeks ago, the school had already begun contacting alumni, but to Zhu Ming's disappointment, as soon as the matter of donation came up, more than half of the entrepreneur alumni started to make excuses about being busy, which chilled Zhu Ming's heart. Ring, ring, the phone in the principal's office rang. Zhu Ming had already received dozens of calls that morning, but most were about specific times and arrangements for the anniversary celebration. This call probably wouldn't be an exception, right? Is this the principal's office of Heihua number 2 high school? A young voice came through from the other side. I would like to inquire about the details concerning the anniversary celebration. Yes, this is Principal Zhu Ming speaking. May I ask which year's alumnus you are? Ha, Zhu Ming has actually made it to principal now. Fang Jueyu chuckled to himself. Back in high school, he had been most afraid of this vice principal Zhu, who almost every night during self-study time would appear and disappear unpredictably outside the windows of various classrooms. Fang Jueyu had been caught by him more than once. Principal Zhu, I'm a graduate of the 2016 class, Fang Jueyu said. A hint of disappointment flashed across Zhu Ming's face. If he belonged to the 2016 class, then he was just a junior in college now, not even having completed his studies, let alone able to offer any help to the school. However, since he was a former student, Zhu Ming naturally couldn't let this attitude show. After all, students have affection for their alma mater in their hearts. Who knows, perhaps they might make something of themselves in the future. He naturally welcomed every student who wanted to come back. Principal Zhu, do you remember me? My name is Fang Jueyu. Fang Jueyu. Zhu Ming had been in the education field for decades, and there were too many students' names in his head. It was really hard to recall at the moment. You've forgotten, that time during my sophomore year I was caught by you sneaking food during night study, and then you dragged me to find our homeroom teacher, only to find that our homeroom teacher was also eating stinky tofu in the office. You lectured both of us. Recalling this incident, Fang Jueyu still found it a bit funny, and when you left, you didn't forget to take a piece of stinky tofu with you. Cough, 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 oh, I remember now, it's you. As soon as this matter was mentioned, Zhu Ming's face turned red, and the image of a mischievous but academically excellent boy came to mind. I remember you were admitted to Jiangnan University, right? Your class was indeed the best I've ever taught. This was not just flattery. Fang Jueyu's class had achieved the highest ever admission rate to top-tier universities in the history of second high school, even close to rivaling first high. If every class had done so well, Zhu Ming wouldn't have been so troubled. Right? Are you here to attend the school's anniversary celebration? Zhu Ming cast aside his worries and found it very interesting and nostalgic to chat with such a student. Yeah, we're just on summer break, so I thought I'd come back and see how the school and our teachers are doing, Fang Jueyu asked casually. By the way, Principal, how well did our school do in the college entrance exam this year? It's a long story. Zhu Ming heaved a heavy sigh. The gap between us and first high is getting wider and third high is catching up fast. I'm afraid they might even surpass us next year. How could that be? I remember third high has always been far behind our school, right? In recent years, third high has received a lot of educational funding. Their facilities, resources, and teaching staff have all improved a lot, whereas our school. Fang Jueyu could tell that the development of second high was not going so well recently. The biggest problem seemed to be the lack of educational funding. Wasn't this precisely in line with what he had in mind? Principal, I called because there's something I want to discuss with you. I was wondering, does the school accept donations from students? Fang Jueyu asked. Hahaha, of course, we very much welcome our alumni to contribute to the development of the school. Zhu Ming didn't get his hopes up. Fang Jueyu was just a junior in college after all. How much could he have? Plus, he recalled that none of the parents of the 2016 class were particularly wealthy. Jueyu, it's not about the amount you donate. Give what you can afford. Just tell me how much you plan to donate and I'll record it now. Does the school only accept cash donations? Fang Jueyu asked. Hahaha, of course we're open to any type of donation. Do you remember the statue at the front gate? That was donated by one of our distinguished alumni. If that's the case, then great. For starters, I'll donate 10 buildings then. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. Not enough. Should I donate more? What? 10 buildings? Zhu Ming's voice trembled sharply, followed by a bitter laugh. He thought Fang Jueyu was joking with him. Jueyu, you can't joke about this. Principal Zhu, I'm not joking. I plan to donate $100 million to support our school. Besides constructing academic and laboratory buildings, the remaining money can be used to improve the school's facilities. Fang Jueyu reminisced about his own high school days, when the air conditioners in the classrooms were broken, making classes in the summer unbearably painful. Wait a minute, Fang, are you serious? Zhu Ming still couldn't believe it. Even the big bosses of listed companies wouldn't easily donate $100 million to a high school, would they? Of course I'm serious. Principal, we've known each other for so long, when have you ever seen me lie? On reflection, Zhu Ming thought although Fang Jueyu was a bit mischievous and not as studious and well-behaved as other students, his character was indeed upright. But given the significance of this matter, his suspicion was also natural. How about this? I'll transfer the money to the school's account first, and then we can discuss what to do next, Fang Jueyu suggested. Let me make a phone call first. Please wait for a moment. Xiao Ying, help me transfer 100 million to my high school's account. Although Fang Jueyu didn't know the school's account number, Xiao Yu was a product of an advanced civilization, and there was nothing on Earth it couldn't find. Okay, send me the account details, and it should be there in 10 minutes. 100 million was just a drop in the ocean compared to Fang Jueyu's several hundred billion in liquid assets. Even just sitting in the bank earning interest, his annual profits were calculated by the billions, not to mention having a huge family helping him with investments. Is this brat really just playing a prank on me? Zhu Ming hung up the phone and began to daydream, wondering whether Fang Jueyu's promise was real or fake. Then in less than 5 minutes, the school's finance department called. Principal, something big has happened. Director Yu's voice came over the phone frantically. What's wrong? Is there another problem with the school's finances? Zhu Ming panicked. The school recently struggled to buy a batch of the latest educational equipment using bank loans. No, a huge sum of money just appeared in the school's account. Exactly 100 million. SHH, Zhu Ming took a sharp breath. Where did this money come from? Did you check? I confirmed with the bank it's from a personal account, but the bank can't disclose the donor's identity. I can't be sure where it came from. I know whose it is. Zhu Ming's breathing quickened, unable to believe that everything Fang Jueyu said was true, that the 100 million had really been deposited. Who? It was donated by one of our school's graduates. Zhu Ming unexpectedly found his confidence. Director Yu, come to my office this afternoon. We need to carefully plan the use of this money. Who knows, maybe we can even bring our school to a new level. Okay, I'll be there in half an hour. Yes. Principal Zhu, did you receive the money? Fang Jueyu called Zhu Ming's office again. Received, received. Zhu Ming's tone was incredibly excited. His voice nearly broke with emotion. With this money, the school's educational resources will definitely experience substantial growth. High schools are different from universities. Universities have many more facilities and a much larger scale. 100 million in a university might not make much of a splash, but in a high school, the difference would be monumental. Let's talk about how to use this money, Fang Jueyu said. Half of it to start to add 10 academic and laboratory buildings and then. Jueyu, slow down, Zhu Ming interrupted him. Our school isn't that big, as you know. There are only 4 academic buildings in total. Building 10 all at once, we wouldn't even have space for them. Ha ha ha, Fang Jueyu laughed heartily. He hadn't considered this. I was a bit hasty. Principal, you have more experience. Why don't you decide? I trust your judgment. Although Zhu Ming is known as the night study killer at school, he is an outstanding teacher in the city every year, and his integrity is beyond question. The funds would definitely be put to good use. How about this? I have a preliminary idea, Zhu Ming said. Let's use 10 million to add another academic and a laboratory building, and then we can upgrade the school's facilities. Remember how you always complained about the air conditioning? Let's replace it all for these kids. It's about time. Fang Jueyu clenched his fist. This had been his dream throughout his 3 years of high school. Then, part of the funds I plan to use to hire some top provincial teachers for our school, and another part to set up a scholarship to assist financially struggling students and reward those with outstanding academic performance. Principal, you've thought of everything. Let's do it your way. Fang Jueyu felt Zhu Ming's plan was excellent. Then, let's name this fund after you, the Fang Jueyu Fund. What do you think? That's really not necessary, Fang Jueyu laughed. I'll just be a founder of the fund. Maybe more alumni will want to donate in the future too. Let's call it the Sons of the Ocean Fund. Heihua City is by the sea, and they all grew up by the ocean. Sons of the Ocean was a very apt name. All right, then we'll do it your way. Jueyu, on behalf of everyone at Heihua Secondary School, I thank you, Zhu Ming sincerely said. How could I not? After all, I'm a product of our school, and supporting my alma mater is the least I can do. Zhu Ming's words made Fang Jueyu somewhat embarrassed. Jueyu, don't be annoyed by my curiosity, but you're only a junior in college. How could you afford so much money? Zhu Ming worried that Fang Jueyu might have taken some wrong path. Well, actually, I just found out myself. My parents recently went on a world tour, then left the family business in my hands to manage. Ha ha ha, who would have thought your family is quite influential, huh? Zhu Ming laughed. These days many wealthy families choose to spare the rod and spoil the daughter. It seemed Fang Jueyu was just that. But suddenly moving so much money, won't it affect your family business? Oh, don't worry about that. This amount of money is just a drop in the ocean for my family, Fang Jueyu added. By the way, Principal Zhu, is 100 million enough? If not, I can donate more. Chapter 21. Chapter 21, Mr. Park's Invitation. Once there was a fascinating piece online about flaunting wealth. Every day wake up on a 100 square meter bed, walk 2 minutes to a 500 square meter bathroom to wash up, then walk another 5 minutes to a wardrobe that boasts over 10,000 unique outfits for all seasons. Under the guidance of a personal styling consultant, pick out the outfit for the day. Now, although Fang Jueyu's lifestyle hadn't reached such extravagant levels, it wasn't far off either, and if he wanted to, making that joke a reality wasn't out of the question. In the following period, Fang Jueyu's life did quiet down a bit, spending his days either gaming with a bunch of his rascal friends or binge-watching shows and movies, which is pretty typical for college students during summer vacation nowadays. A few days ago, Cheng Kai and the others also brought out their gaming proposal, and Zhuang Ying submitted their ideas to a gaming company under her name for evaluation, which ended up receiving high praise. As for what followed, it was simple. Fang Jueyu pulled out 20 million and registered a gaming company, holding a 70% stake himself while his 3 roommates took the remaining 30%, a share Fang Jueyu had to force on them. As for the series of tasks that followed, such as recruiting and choosing the company location, they had naturally been left for them to figure out. Fang Jueyu did not want to waste his energy on these matters. That night, as usual, he logged onto the Bamboo platform to watch live streams. Unbeknownst until now, just over a week had passed, and his personal account had attracted over 1 million followers and tens of thousands of comments, some asking for relationships, others begging to ride on his coattails. This computer really is impressive, pulling up tens of thousands of comments instantly without a hitch, Fang Jueyu exclaimed. The all-in-ones nowadays are surprisingly good. Host, which I saw it as an all-in-one, Xinyu's voice echoed in his ear. Isn't it? This computer only has a screen, not even a main unit. If it's not an all-in-one, then what is it? Fang Jueyu bent down, but there was nothing under the computer desk except for a flawless piece of hide. Host, do you see those few wires behind the computer screen? Only then did Fang Jueyu notice that the computer was connected to the wall by a small connector, seemingly having wires running directly into the wall. Is the main unit in this wall? Fang Jueyu looked as if he had never seen anything like it. Below this villa, there's a small supercomputer. What? A supercomputer? Fang Jueyu's jaw nearly dropped. That's a top-tier strategic technology product used for national defense and technological developments, and here he was using it for gaming, watching videos, and live streaming. This was built quite some time ago based on the design your father obtained from me. It occupies about 200 square meters, so it's much slower, managing only about 500 trillion operations per second. However, for your everyday use, that's already more than sufficient. Holy shit, when was this installed here? If told the supercomputer had been set up here from the start, Fang Jueyu would never have believed it. Just over a month ago, Miss Zhuang Ying thought this place would most likely be where you'd eventually live permanently, so she had it moved here from Mr. Fang Jueyu's previous residence. Damn, I'm speechless. Fang Jueyu was blindsided yet again by his family. He had lived here for over a week, and only now did he learn that there was a supercomputer installed beneath the house. If others knew, it might cause quite a stir, right? Xinyu, can you help me directly block those spam emails? It's a piece of cake. Fang Jueyu's computer screen flickered, and all the inane messages were automatically filtered out. Warmly welcome level 10 VIP user Lin Shenjianlu to host Park's live streaming room. 666,666, welcome Boss Lu. Boss Lu, did you see the direct message I sent you? I can come warm your bed tonight if you want. Could you have no shame upstairs? Stop seducing my husband. Yes. Boss Lu is here. How about joining us for a drive? Our team is just one person short. Having just finished a game, one of Park's teammates had gone offline, and he simply invited Fang Jueyu to join. Yeah, sure. Fang Jueyu wasn't busy anyway, so he promptly joined Park's team. By the way, I don't have an account in this area. Which bro can lend me one? I'm not asking for a freebie. You can send the account directly to Park. Fang Jueyu shouted into the comments. Boss Lu, use mine. Mine is a diamond account. Tui, talking big with a diamond account, use mine. I have the king rank with 700 points. You guys fight it out. I just want to see what Boss Lu means by not borrowing for nothing. Add one from above. Teacher Park's team was all masters or above, and soon he sent over a master account. Fang Jueyu logged into the account and, without a word, recharged 100,000 RMB on it, which converted to 10 million points, enough to buy every non-limited skin available. Boss Lu is so generous. Who is this so lucky? Holy shit, Boss Lu. Next time you want to borrow an account, please say it earlier. I just came to watch the live stream. Boss Lu, let me introduce you. These guys were my teammates back in my professional days. Now they've retired Baldy, Shadow, and Kid. Hello? Fang Jueyu connected to the team's microphone and greeted the former pro players, remembering that the first LOL match he ever watched was Kid's. My god, Boss Lu's voice is so nice. It'd be a pity not to call this voice C. The person above is so lewd, but I like it. Boss Lu, which role are you playing? I'll take mid, I'm used to this role. Fang Jueyu instantly picked Victor, his most frequently played mid-lane champion. Just wait for Boss Lu to get caught by the opposite side's fans. I want to see who dares. Boss Lu will smash you with money. Boss Lu, you better not be hiring actors. Although Fang Jueyu's skills weren't bad, he was still quite inferior to these professional players, but Shadow kept helping him by catching the opposite mid-laner, and in the end, 4 people even desperately helped him tank the fountain to let Fang Jueyu achieve a pentakill. This is what they call money talks. They played until 10 o'clock, and the fans had already started calling out in the chat. 10 o'clock, looks like Boss Lu is slipping away. Where is Boss Lu's bridal escort team? Gather in Miss Xinyu's room. Hahaha, Boss Lu, You're going to slip away, aren't you? Heh, as usual, Fang Jueyu laughed. Okay then, I won't keep you, Teacher Park said candidly. By the way, China Joy is in 3 days. Are you interested in coming to Magic City for some fun? Sure, Fang Jueyu had wanted to go for a long time but never had the spare cash. Great, when you arrive in Magic City, come find me directly. I'll introduce some friends to you. Okay, see you in Magic City in 3 days. Chapter 22, The Trash Ancestors Don't Want. Did I hear you're also going to China Joy this year? Fang Jueyu messaged Gogh Xinyu after finishing her live stream as usual and was about to go to bed. Also, you're going too. Yeah, because I've gained a lot of followers recently. Bamboo Platform has invited me as a guest. I might also be at the Bamboo Platform booth. Gogh Xinyu sent a cheeky emoji. Great, I'll treat you to a meal then. Fang Jueyu had always wanted to see Gogh Xinyu's real face, and this might be the first time she'd show her face after streaming for so long. That won't do. You've helped me so much. I should be the one treating you. Gogh Xinyu's followers had increased to over 2 million, and Bamboo Platform had just signed a long-term contract with her a few days ago. That contract brought her enough benefits to pay off her family's debts and improve her life, all thanks to Fang Jueyu. Okay then, I won't be shy about it. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Fang Jueyu didn't refuse further. Haha, then you might be disappointed. I'm not as pretty as you think. Don't forget, the folks in the live stream call me Kaio Biluo, Gogh Xinyu playfully said. I don't believe that. You girls always think you're not pretty or thin enough, women's mouths, deceiving men's minds. All right, it's late. I'm going to sleep. See you in the Magic City then. It was past midnight, and Gogh Xinyu was feeling increasingly sleepy. Okay, get some sleep early. Fang Jueyu was still wide awake, probably because his body had been enhanced. Recently, no matter how late he went to bed, he would wake up full of energy the next morning. Wait, did I forget something recently? Just as Fang Jueyu was about to fall asleep, he suddenly sprang up from his bed. Xinyu, you didn't give me the reward for that last mission, did you? What ancestors discarded as trash might sound dodgy, but Fang Jueyu believed it was definitely something astonishing. Host, you finally remembered. If you don't claim your mission reward within a week, you won't be able to claim it anymore, Xinyu said. Damn it, why didn't you remind me or just give it to me directly? Fang Jueyu said angrily, realizing that if he hadn't remembered, the mission would have been almost for nothing besides a slight increase in his authority level. This is the dictate of the 99th host. Suddenly Xinyu mimicked Fang Jueyu's tone. This kid is always scatterbrained. If you get a chance, teach him a lesson to make him more mindful in the future. Not only did Xinyu perfectly imitate the voice, but also the tone, leaving Fang Jueyu with some complaints, yet it was his dad's instruction, so he couldn't really blame Xinyu. But this time, he did learn his lesson. He would claim his rewards immediately after completing missions in the future. The reward after completing the university anniversary mission would be even more substantial. Okay, just give me the mission reward now, Fang Jueyu said, eager to find out what the so-called ancestral trash was. No sooner had he spoken than a square space appeared in Fang Jueyu's mind, a space that didn't connect to the world he lived in but existed independently. Xinyu, what is this? Is this an independent space? Fang Jueyu felt as if he was in a sci-fi world. Exactly, this is a movable independent space created using spatial science. Theoretically, this space can be very large, but due to authority restrictions, you can only use a cubic meter of space for now. My God, even a cubic meter was enough to do a lot of things. How did you manage to do this? The civilization that created me is much more advanced than Earth, and this kind of spatial technology isn't difficult for them. And your civilization? Fang Jueyu had never asked about Xinyu's origins. Due to the overexploitation of resources, the entire galaxy was destroyed, and my data stream followed the gamma rays of the star's destruction and arrived on Earth, entering the body of the Fang family ancestor, your 99th predecessor, and has stayed until now. So that's how it is. Fang Jueyu couldn't believe that he had accidentally discovered the origin of Xiaoyi, and perhaps that was when his family's fate had begun to change. How am I supposed to use this space? The host just needs to control it with their mind. Thinking about it, Fang Jueyu tried to bring the space closer to himself, and sure enough, his field of vision kept narrowing. This cubic meter of space was almost empty, except for a small porcelain bottle. Fang Jueyu took out the small bottle. Could this be some kind of antique? If you insist on saying that, then yes, It's from the period of the 15th generation host. Passed down through so many years, it's quite valuable, Xiaoyu said, but the real reward is what's inside the bottle. Oh, Fang Jueyu hurriedly opened the bottle, and a fragrance like that of herbs immediately gushed out, invigorating Fang Jueyu's spirit. The small bottle contained 5 dark, slick objects, about the size of a sweetener, though their shapes weren't as regular. What on earth is this? It better not be some thousands of years old boogers my ancestors saved up. If Fang Jueyu's ancestors were still alive, hearing this comment would probably have gotten him beaten to death on the spot. These are the failed products obtained by the 15th generation host while making alchemical pills. What alchemical pills? Immortal cultivation, Fang Jueyu couldn't help but mutter. This is a form of science, Xiaoyu said sternly. Many components in plants after being extracted and condensed are greatly beneficial for the human body. Although Earth's plants are somewhat inferior, the refined substances can't make one immortal, but they can extend life and preserve youth. And these were the failed products created by accident by the 15th generation host while trying to make an elixir of immortality for Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He was supposed to discard them, but I kept them. Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Fang Jueyu was at a loss for words again. Even Emperor Qin Shi Huang was brought into this. The 15th generation host had learned a lot of alchemy knowledge from my database. At that time, he was an alchemy master. Although he could not produce anything spectacular, as long as the materials were sufficient, helping someone live an extra 2 decades wasn't a difficult task. Is that so? Even with modern medicine, having someone on their deathbed live a few more days is tough, yet his ancestor truly had skills. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, when nearing death, asked your ancestor to help him make the elixir of immortality, Xiaoyu chuckled. But even the most precious medicines on Earth couldn't achieve that. He only made 3 pills that extended life by a decade or so. What happened after that? Fang Jueyu was becoming more interested in this part of history. After that, the 3 pills were intercepted by Zhao Gao, but that was no longer the concern of the host at the time. He had already developed methods to unlock human potential, and with the items awarded to him by the emperor, he fought his way out of the chaotic palace alone. Ha, worthy of my ancestor, truly impressive. A strong sense of pride surged in Fang Jueyu's heart. So, what use are these 5 useless objects? Can they extend life? Not really, Xiaoyu said. These are all failed products, so naturally, there are some issues with their efficacy. However, I have analyzed their components and they can cause aging cells to rapidly regenerate. While they can't cure all diseases, as long as it's not a missing arm or a leg, they can heal any injury or sickness, including cancer and AIDS. They can heal. Chapter 23, Private Helicopter. Ever since that day, Fang Jueyu had lost count of how many times he'd used those 2 words. This disease, still considered incurable by humanity, could actually be cured. If released into the medical community, it would definitely be a blockbuster. Such a miraculous thing was merely garbage discarded by his ancestors. Could there be anything more wasteful? Compared to that, he was just spending generously. But compared to them, he must have been quite thrifty and simple, right? Even the garbage they discarded had such effects. So what kind of heaven-defying treasure could be the things the ancestors accidentally lost? Fang Jueyu was already getting impatient to complete the next task. He carefully put the small bottle back into the space. Though he didn't need it now, who knows when it might be incredibly effective. Hello, Boss Lu, where are you? I'm still stuck in the expressway traffic. In order to rush to Madu, Fang Jueyu had gotten up very early that day, but he had underestimated the pull of China Joy. That day, countless enthusiasts from various cities arrived, and by 6 or 7 in the morning, the traffic was already incredibly congested. Teacher Pooh, why don't you go ahead? I'll come directly to the venue to find you later. There was no sign of the traffic improving anytime soon, and Fang Jueyu was too embarrassed to make them wait, especially since Teacher Pooh had arranged to meet quite a few friends that day. Teacher Pooh's real name was Liu Yimu, and ever since he made his first pot of gold on the professional gaming circuit, he had settled in Madu. Normally, he wouldn't really mind waiting, but today at the venue he also had an appointment with a big shot. Not only the boss of Bamboo Live, but also one of the most famous second-generation rich in the country. He dared not keep him waiting. In his heart, even though Fang Jueyu was wealthy, he couldn't possibly be richer than that person, right? That person's family might not be the richest in the country, but they were definitely in the top 3. The names of these top 3 scions were well known in society, and Fang Jueyu probably wouldn't rank. Liu Yimou had invited Fang Jueyu to the exhibition solely to expand his own network. All right then, I won't hide it from you. Today, I also have an appointment with young Master Wang. When you arrive at the venue, just call me, and I'll introduce you guys. Sure, see you at the exhibition later, Fang Jueyu agreed readily. Of course, Fang Jueyu knew who this young Master Wang was. Wang Lin, one of the top 3 magnates in Huaxia, and his son Wang Kong. The phrase, "I never care about whether my friends are rich or not, because for sure they won't be richer than me," had gone viral on the internet, and he had also become a very popular internet celebrity. But it must be said, although he was a rich second generation, Wang Kong was very competent and had very sound personal principles, often making people clap and cheer when he rebuked others online. With his status, he had never mixed with such people before, but now he suddenly had the chance. He couldn't help but marvel at the wonders of fate. What the hell is going on up front? Been stuck for 2 hours now and it's not moving at all. Fang Jueyu had been holding in a pee for ages now, and the long wait was eroding his patience. It'd be great if I had an airplane, Fang Jueyu said offhandedly. Host, you do have one. I know I do. All the seafood and Wagyu beef at my house is flown in by private jet, Fang Jueyu retorted sarcastically. But there's no runway to land here, so what good is having a plane? No, I'm not talking about your private plane. I'm talking about your private helicopter. I have a helicopter too, Fang Jueyu was surprised. Right, if I have a plane, what's so strange about having a helicopter? Thinking about this, he quickly took out his phone and dialed Zhuang Ying's number. Young master, have you arrived in Magic City yet? Zhuang Ying was in the villa, enjoying the bright morning with a facial mask on. Don't mention it. It seems like there was a traffic accident on the road, and this convoy hasn't moved for hours. If this keeps up, I don't even know if I can make it to Magic City before it gets dark. Oh, just a trivial matter like that. Send me your location, and I'll send a helicopter to pick you up. Zhuang Ying spoke as if it were the most mundane task in the world, treating a private helicopter as casually as taking the subway or a bus. Fang Jueyu immediately sent her his location. Please wait a moment, young master. There's always your private helicopter on standby at Magic City's airport. It can reach that location in no more than 20 minutes. Okay, thank you, Sister Ying. Being rich is truly great. Fang Jueyu leaned back into his seat, ready to say goodbye to this godforsaken place. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, a thunderous noise sounded from the sky, and a jet-black helicopter descended, drawing gasps of amazement from many onlookers. Holy shit, isn't that a bit too extravagant? Fang Jueyu had expected a small helicopter, but this one was nearly the size of a transport chopper, wasn't it? The massive wind pressure seemed as if it would crush the vehicles below into smithereens. Host, this private helicopter was converted from a decommissioned United States Ah-64 armed helicopter, with a total length of 17.8 meters and a width of 5.23 meters. Mr. Fang Hua quietly bought it a few years ago for $120 million. Isn't my father's style a bit too badass? Fang Jueyu was dumbstruck. Why has the helicopter stopped? Is it picking someone up? My God, I've never seen such a huge helicopter in my life. Is it a private one? Maybe not. What if someone is injured or ill and needs to be rushed to the hospital? Hurry up and film this. If we post it online, it will definitely go viral. As the crowd buzzed with curiosity, 4 individuals in black descended from the Hello's winch, securing a nearby Porsche Cayenne with what seemed like hoist straps, then quickly returned to the helicopter. Wait a second, what are they doing? Weren't they supposed to pick me up? Why have they tied up my car? Just as Fang Jueyu was at a loss, the aircraft took off, effortlessly hoisting the 2-ton-plus Cayenne into the sky. Hey, put me down. Fang Jueyu was no stranger to flying, but he had never experienced flight in such a manner. Who knew if the ropes were sturdy? If they accidentally snapped falling from this height, he would be nothing but a pile of mush. Host, rest assured, the power system of this helicopter could even lift a tank, let alone a car. Plus, the ropes are specially made. Nothing under 10 tons could snap them. But even if you say that, I'm still freaking out. I feel like I'm gonna hurl. Amid Fang Jueyu's cries and howls, the helicopter smoothly made its way toward the China Joy Convention Center. Little did he know, countless people had already recorded and uploaded the spectacle onto the internet. Unaware to Fang Jueyu, within just a few minutes, The video had already gone viral on major social media platforms, even hitting the top trends on Weibo. Chapter 24. Chapter 24, the most high-profile way to make an entrance. Over the top in humanity. With traffic congestion at the Jiangnan Bridge, a Porsche owner actually called a private helicopter to fly over the congested section. This hot search immediately dominated Weibo's headlines, as Fang Jueyu didn't obscure his license plate, which was even exposed online. Moreover, a huge helicopter hauling a car through the sky was too conspicuous, and nearly everyone who saw it couldn't resist taking photos or videos, as such an event is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. Liu Yimu and many veteran members had already arrived at the China Joy venue. Among them was another figure wearing a duckbill cap, accompanied by a strikingly beautiful internet celebrity. This person was undoubtedly Wang Kong. High-profile, fond of internet celebrities, wealthy. These were his biggest tags, but he himself didn't shun these labels, as they were indeed the most fitting descriptions of himself. Come and check this out. On Wang Kong's phone was a video of the Cayenne being towed into the sky by a massive helicopter, a scene so audacious it would seldom be attempted even in movies. Holy cow, isn't this way too awesome? Liu Yimu snatched Wang Kong's phone to repeatedly verify the authenticity of the video. I thought I was high-profile enough, but it turns out there are even more outrageous people in the world. Getting a private helicopter to retrieve a car stuck on the highway is just too exaggerated, isn't it? Wang Kong exclaimed. But this person is really strange. That Cayenne is only about 1,000,000 yuan, which pales in comparison to the helicopter. Liu Yimu's teammate, Shadow, commented. With their net worth, although they couldn't afford the helicopter, they could afford the car. This helicopter wouldn't happen to be from that new app called Haley Helicopter, would it? I remember they offer helicopter services, just a bit pricey. No, that helicopter is a private one, Wang Kong declared. 3 years ago, I saw it when I went with my dad to a private auction in the United States. It was a decommissioned attack helicopter that had been modified, and it was sold for 120 million yuan to an anonymous tycoon from our country. Principal Wang, did your dad not want to buy it? Liu Yimu asked. Principal Wang was Wang Kong's nickname, favored by his friends and online followers. How could he? My dad also bid, but he stopped when he reached 100 million US dollars. What, the helicopter wasn't worth that price? Of course not, but my dad seemed to recognize the person who was bidding, and it looked like many people at that auction were giving him face. Nobody would bid too outrageously on items he wanted. Remembering that mysterious bidder in the VIP room, Wang Kong was still very curious. With participants like the Rothschild family and the Morgan family at the auction, everyone giving face to that mysterious buyer, his identity surely was awe-inspiring. So, you mean to say that man might be connected to that mysterious tycoon? Highly likely, Wang Kong nodded, wishing he could meet that man if he ever had the chance. Hey, look at Weibo, that helicopter seems to be headed towards the China Joy venue. Liu Yimu's other teammate, Sun Long, called out. No way. They thought the man might have some urgent meeting or similar important affair to attend by choosing such a mode of transport, but was he just aiming to get to the show early by helicopter? Wasn't that excessively extravagant? Let's go out and see. Wang Kong couldn't care less about the sultry internet celebrity by his side. To him, the identity of the car owner was much more alluring. The internet celebrity stomped her foot in frustration, but quickly grabbed her LV bag and followed him. How many people were in line to be Wang Kong's girlfriend? Even just a week would bring her countless benefits. She couldn't just throw it all away midway. Roar, roar, roar. The loud engine noise came from the sky, and sure enough, the helicopter landed outside the China Joy venue. Many people who heard the news had already formed a huge circle outside, waiting to see the true face of this car owner. It's over. I'm probably going to be famous now. Fang Jueyu's face was bitter, as there were at least hundreds of people surrounding him, and he knew that countless cameras would target him the moment he stepped out of the car, making it impossible to stay low-key. I should have never asked Zioing's sister for this favor. Fang Jueyu repented, as his flashy entrance may have been a tad too ostentatious. At last, Fang Jueyu's helicopter landed, and the 4 well-trained men in black once again descended from the helicopter, gathered the ropes tied to the car, and swiftly returned to the aircraft. Mission accomplished, returning. The helicopter roared tremendously and soon disappeared into the sky. Immediately, the Porsche became the center of attention, with the crowd surrounding it so densely that Fang Jueyu couldn't leave even if he wanted to. I have no choice but to call for help. Fang Jueyu immediately dialed Liu Yimu's number. Teacher Park, save me. Chairman Liu, you've arrived. Where are you? What do you mean by save me? Liu Yimu was utterly confused by Fang Jueyu's words. That, my private helicopter dropped me off right at the entrance of the venue, and it's swarming with people. I'm afraid I'll get devoured as soon as I get out of the car. Is there any way you could help disperse these people? Fang Jueyu stammered. Holy shit, Chairman Liu, that's your car. Liu Yimu had never linked Fang Jueyu with the owner of that Porsche, thinking Fang Jueyu was still stuck on a bridge or highway jam. Wait a second, I'll ask the principal for some ideas. Teacher Park who? Wang Kong heard his name mentioned when Liu Yimu was on the phone. That's the friend I was planning to introduce you to today, the Chairman Liu, who's quite popular on the bamboo platform recently. Oh, I know. Wang Kong nodded nonchalantly, not making much of it as flashy rich guys were common on the live streaming platform, and he wouldn't make connections with just anyone, perhaps just a typical newly rich. That Chairman Liu is in that car right now. Liu Yimu pointed to the Porsche. What? You're saying that guy inside the car is the Chairman Liu you mentioned? Suddenly, Wang Kong could no longer contain his composure. A person who could secure such a helicopter, even making his father show deference, surely wasn't just any ordinary wealthy man. Are you sure? He called us to help disperse the crowd. Ha ha ha, all that flashiness, and now he's seeking our help. Wang Kong laughed maliciously but quickly called security. Being the biggest investor in this China joy, he undoubtedly had the authority. Before long, a group of security personnel arrived to disperse the crowd. Please make way, everyone. This is one of today's special programs at the convention. Now please clear a path. So it's just a special program. I thought some big shot had arrived. It's impressive that the organizers managed to get such a helicopter. And who do you think the organizer is? Can't Principal Wang get a helicopter? Is that really the case? I feel like they're just bluffing. Soon after, the crowd dispersed significantly, allowing Fang Jueyu to drive into the underground parking garage. Only after he was sure no one saw him did he get out. He shook his head helplessly. Fine, maybe I'd better not drive this car again. Chapter 25. Chapter 25. I'll cover whatever is left. Hey, Zhuangying, could you help me score a car? Mine is probably already on the internet, and I don't dare to drive it anymore. Fang Jueyu whispered his request to Zhuangying from a corner. Ha 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 ha! Zhuangying laughed so hard wrinkles nearly formed. In truth, Fang Jueyu had access to those small helicopters at the airport in Madu, and she could easily have one pick him up and have someone else take care of the car. She was doing this purely for her amusement, and if Fang Jueyu knew her mindset, he'd probably be murderous. You're laughing. I was almost gawked at like a zoo gorilla just now, Fang Jueyu grumbled. All right, I'll have someone send a car over to you shortly. What kind of car do you prefer? You have many large 4S stores in Madu, and the warehouse has reserved a lot of cars for you, all sorts of brands and models. Get me a Maserati 430. Apollo's sun god was Fang Jueyu's dream car, and the Maserati was his former small goal. He liked Maserati simply for the logo, not so much for the car's exterior or performance. All right, I'll have someone bring it over to you soon. Phew, Fang Jueyu let out a sigh of relief, finally walking out of the underground garage. He encountered many rubberneckers along the way, but dressed in a plain white t-shirt that cost around 50 yuan, no one linked him to the flashy mystery figure from earlier. Thanks, Teacher Pooh, I'm out. Where are you guys? Fang Jueyu dialed the number again. Oh, we're right at the square where you just landed. Principal Wang is here too. I'll introduce you guys in a bit. Okay, I'll be there shortly. Fang Jueyu sprinted and quickly found Liu Yimu and the others at the entrance. Teacher Pooh. Having seen Principal Wang and Teacher Pooh many times on live streams and online, Fang Jueyu recognized them instantly, and although he wasn't too familiar with the others, they seemed familiar, likely former members of the old IG team. You're Lin Shenjian Liu, the dear boss. Liu Yimu couldn't believe it. Fang Jueyu was just too young. With no photos of himself on his social media, Liu Yimu had thought Fang Jueyu would be at least in his 30s. Yes, that's me. I'm Fang Jueyu, 20 years old, studying at Jiangnan University in Jiangnan City. Fang Jueyu shook hands with them. Hello, Liu Yimu was still recovering from his shock. Well, let me introduce you first. These are my teammates, we've played games together recently. This is Principal Wang, you definitely know him, so I won't go into details. Principal Wang, I've heard so much about you. This was the first time Fang Jueyu met Wang Kong in person, who seemed quite down to earth. "I never expected a young tycoon like you to be tucked away right here in Huaxia, Brother Fang," Wang Kong greeted him warmly. "May I ask you something sneakily? That helicopter of yours, is it for sale? I'll offer 150 million US dollars. You won't lose out." Fang Jueyu suddenly realized why Wang Kong was so enthusiastic. His helicopter had caught his interest. In fact, Wang Kong had another motive. He wanted to confirm if the helicopter was really Fang Jueyu's. "What, Principal Wang, you're interested in my chopper?" Fang Jueyu smiled. "Between us, both my dad and I were at that auction. Had you not bid, we'd have nailed it." Wang Kong genuinely liked that helicopter. "Ha ha ha, that helicopter was bought by my dad. It has nothing to do with me. But if you're interested, not this one. My family also has another AH-1 attack helicopter converted into a private plane. If you offer a fair price, I might consider it." This news had also just been shared with him by Zhuang Ying. It seemed his old man was extremely fond of these private aircraft modified from military helicopters. There were probably more than 20 such choppers in his name, each one priced at over 100 million US dollars. "So straightforward, I'm definitely gonna be friends with you." Business was clinched in just a few words, and the units were billion and US dollar no less. Teacher Park and his friends were utterly astonished. So this is how rich people chat. "By the way, do you need to borrow a car for now? You probably won't be able to drive that Porsche on the road anymore, huh?" "Ha ha ha." Wang Kong laughed as if he was enjoying another's misfortune. "No need, my assistant will bring me a new car soon. I won't be driving that one anymore." "If you're not going to drive it, why not give it to me?" Teacher Park's friends couldn't help but grumble internally. They were itching for a car that's worth $1 million, yet here it was being dismissed so casually. China Joy, formerly known as the Huaxia International Digital Interactive Entertainment Exhibition, holds various games, anime, digital products, and more over its 4-day duration. But what really draws droves of otaku is the plethora of beautiful cosplayers. As he walked, Fang Jueyu was dazzled by the parade of long legs. It seemed that, by virtue of being with Principal Wang and Teacher Park, he drew a lot of attention wherever he went, as his face was completely unfamiliar to the online community. Since they had been delayed on the road, by the time they wandered around a bit, it was already noon. Principal Wang directly invited Fang Jueyu to lunch, having already reserved seats at a nearby hotel. Since Gogh Xinyu would only show up in the afternoon, and they were scheduled to have dinner together, Fang Jueyu wasn't too modest to decline the lunch invitation. "Old Fang, ride with me." Teacher Park gestured to his orange Lamborghini parked by the curb. "The principal's car only has 2 seats, you know what I mean." Teacher Park's gaze fleetingly touched on the beautiful internet celebrity beside Principal Wang, although she didn't quite seem like the one who was recently photographed by netizens online. Probably changed, he thought, not an unusual occurrence anymore. "What about them?" Fang Jueyu gestured towards Sun Long and the others. "No worries, we all brought our own cars. You guys go ahead." "Sure." Fang Jueyu hopped into Teacher Park's car. It was his first time in a sports car, even though his own was being custom-made. He couldn't help feeling a bit nervous. The roar of the engine brought the orange Lamborghini to life, speeding off and following Wang Kong's limited edition Porsche 918. Wang Kong had chosen a nearby 5-star hotel for lunch. Originally, they had planned to grab something casual, but now that Fang Jueyu was with them, they couldn't settle for anything less, even though they had all gotten quite familiar in just a short time. "By the way, old Fang, we still don't know what your family does. You seem to come from quite a substantial enterprise. I bet your parents are no ordinary people. Maybe our parents even know each other." Over lunch, the conversation flowed freely, and Wang Kong seemed very interested in Fang Jueyu's background. "Well, my family does a bit of everything. Honestly, I don't even know all the industries we're involved in. I only found out how rich we were last week." Fang Jueyu had repeated this line countless times over the past week. "As for my parents, they're no longer with us." "Oh, sorry, I didn't know." When Fang Jueyu said, "no longer with us," he meant they were not on Earth, but Wang Kong took it as they were no longer alive. This allowed him to also make sense of the earlier part of the conversation, guessing Fang Jueyu must have inherited a large fortune from his parents. Fang Jueyu realized that Wang Kong had misunderstood, but he didn't explain, as it would be funny if one day Wang Kong seriously investigated the matter. He could only silently apologize to Fang Hua and Cao Lan in his heart. By the way, old Fang, Bade our film is planning to shoot a movie soon but is short on funds. What do you think? Interested in chipping in? You'll get a share of the profits based on your investment. Wang Kong was facing some problems recently and saw a chance to tap into Fang Jueyu's resources. Really, principal? Your family has so much money and you still need me to fund a movie. Ha, the money is my old man's. He gave me some startup capital and then left me to my own devices. Everything else I've earned is from my own investments. I've just been investing a bit too much recently and I'm a little short on cash. Wang Kong laughed even though he had a decent nest egg in his private treasury, but that was for emergencies and not to be touched carelessly. Fang Jueyu slapped his chest. Sure, how much do you need? I'll cover the rest. Chapter 26. Chapter 26. Today, I was stunned by someone throwing money at me. You don't even ask how much funding I still need before you take it all. Wang Kong was somewhat dumbfounded. The film he planned to shoot was not just a run-of-the-mill urban or campus theme, but a fantasy epic with a huge production scale, which could not be made with an investment of mere tens of millions. Wang Kong was also a complete novel fanatic. Ever since the novel Battle Through the Heavens came out, he had been utterly enamored with its world. There had been an attempt to adapt Battle Through the Heavens into a TV series before, but it was criticized by the audience to no end. The special effects in the movie Legend of the Swordsman, made decades ago, were incomparably better than those in the adapted TV series. The meme of the Doro-class fighter riding over on horseback had been thoroughly played out by netizens, to the point where even Wang Kong wanted to drag that director out for a beating. To produce the Battle Through the Heavens of his dreams, Wang Kong had spent a lot of money to acquire all adaptation and filming rights to this novel, and had also invited a special effects team from Hollywood. Just this part of the budget had already reached a staggering $250 million, but then there was the huge investment for props, actors, directors, and so on. In the early days of his entrepreneurship, Wang Lin had given him $500 million as startup capital. Within just a few years, Wang Kong had managed to increase this amount to more than tenfold with his capabilities, and his current net worth had already exceeded $7 billion. However, most of that money was in fixed assets, and the liquid assets he had access to were less than $1 billion. He couldn't possibly throw all this money into it, could he? If the box office was a flop, wouldn't all his efforts be wasted? According to Wang Kong's budget, to achieve the best results, the total investment might reach an astonishing $1 billion. Such a huge investment was unprecedented in the film industry, and no one dared to take such a big risk. As Fang Jueyu said, if he were to cover the remaining funds, then he would need to come up with almost $5 billion. Although Fang Jueyu's net worth was certainly impressive, a sum that large was not so easily liquidated. I might still need $5 billion, Wang Kong honestly stated. No problem, I'll put up the $5 billion. After hearing Wang Kong's ideas, Fang Jueyu also became somewhat excited. He had spent almost every night in high school secretly reading that novel under the covers, and after watching the TV series of Battle Through the Heavens, he was deeply disappointed. With such great ideas from Wang Kong, Fang Jueyu was 100% supportive. Are you serious? Serious? Fang Jueyu said firmly. You're not doubting that I can't come up with this mere $5 billion, are you? Liu Yimu and others sitting nearby instantly rolled their eyes. $5 billion, such a vast sum, was an amount most people couldn't earn a fraction of in their lifetimes, and only these two would dare use the prefix mere with that number. How could I? Wang Kong wasn't doubting Fang Jueyu's financial power. After all, his own father had to show respect to Fang Jueyu's father, who might be even wealthier than his own, but assets were one thing, liquid funds another. $5 billion was no small figure. Don't worry, just handle the actor and director arrangements, and if money gets tight, come to me, Fang Jueyu said with full confidence. This line used to be what Wang Kong would say to others when he was investing. Now that it was being addressed to himself, Wang Kong truly had a very special feeling inside. You might not believe it if I said it, but someone just told me this. If money is short, come to me. Wang Kong casually posted the line on his Weibo. Wang Kong had tens of millions of followers, and as soon as this post went live, the comments exploded in an instant. The popularity rose at an extremely fast rate, quickly reaching the second spot on the trending searches, just below the helicopter incident from the morning. Ha, President Wang, you've also experienced being smacked in the face with money. I want to know which godly tycoon can say such a thing to a principal. It's not that young master from the capital city, is it? Wait, Don't forget that our principal was at the China Joy event today. Although the staff claimed that the helicopter incident was a special program from the organizer, with my years of experience analyzing stuff, it must be a cover-up. The person involved in this incident is very likely the same one who said that thing. We all went through 9 years of compulsory education, so why are you so brilliant upstairs? Did you secretly take extra classes or something? At Tsinghua University, suggest admission. At Yanjing University, suggest you seal the recommendation. As soon as this Weibo post was published, the heat of those two posts shot up like mad. Sadly, even though someone captured photos of Wang Kong and others entering the hotel, the clarity was a bit too low, which meant Fang Jueyu's face wasn't discernible. But one thing is almost certain: the owner of that helicopter is most likely the person who went to see Principal Wang. Since everyone had driven there, nobody dared to drink. Although they had unique statuses, they were all young people with a lot in common, especially when they were complaining about the same thing. They instantly built up a revolutionary friendship, and very soon everyone started to get on like brothers. Wang Kong had some business to attend to in the afternoon, so he couldn't stay at the venue any longer. When they walked out of the hotel with Fang Jueyu, the car Zhuang Ying arranged had already been delivered to the hotel entrance. However, the car seemed a little different from what he had expected. Hadn't he asked for a Maserati 430? Then why was there a supercar with a Maserati logo in front of him? Holy shit, the car you said someone was going to send over, you were talking about this one. Wang Kong's eyes bulged. He recognized it all right. A Maserati MC12, only 50 of them produced worldwide and just 2 in Huaxia. But he knew both the owners of those 2 cars, and none of them had the surname Fang. Clearly, this car was not among those 2. A middle-aged man dressed in a suit stepped out of the car. With due respect, he approached Fang Jueyu and handed over the car keys, saying, "Young Master Fang, Miss Zhuang instructed me to deliver the keys to you." Fang Jueyu was a bit baffled. Didn't you say you were bringing over a 430? Why deliver this kind of thing instead? Fang Jueyu got anxious. He had already noticed that many people around were paying attention to them, even starting to snap photos with their phones. Such a luxury car isn't something you see every day, and the owner is even more the focus of everyone's gaze. It's like this. Recently, due to some issues with the company, all the cars of that model were found to have safety hazards and were urgently recalled. Knowing that you like Maserati, Miss Zhuang simply had me bring over this car instead. This woman stirring things up again. Fang Jueyu was irked but helpless. The car had been delivered, and they surely couldn't ask for it to be driven back, right? Moreover, he needed a car to get around here. Hey, old Fang, where did this car come from, huh? I thought there were only 2 in Huaxia. Did you pry this from some rich bugger abroad? Wang Kong asked, his interest piqued. I have no idea. Fang Jueyu directed his gaze at the middle-aged man who delivered the car. Uncle, do you know? The man showed a strange expression. Young master, don't you know that you own 78.2% of Maserati's shares? Every time there's a new model, the factory sends a few finished products to Huaxia first, and those aren't included in the total limited sales number. Great, I've got shares. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes and then gave Wang Kong an innocent expression. You're awesome. Wang Kong gave a thumbs up, then took out his phone and posted on Weibo. Just now, I had a meal with the biggest shareholder of Maserati, and he only found out about this after the meal. Today, I've been smacked silly with money. We're heading out now. I'll come to Jiangnan City in a couple of days if I have time, and we can discuss the movie investment then. Before leaving, Wang Kong exchanged contact information with Fang Jueyu, but he really couldn't stand staying with Fang Jueyu any longer. In comparison, he felt like a poor man. Chinese letter, 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 Chinese letter. Fang Jueyu scanned his surroundings, realizing that standing next to such a flashy sports car made it hard not to attract attention. Host, you can't do that. Don't forget, the task for unlocking the first phase of permissions requires you to make a loud name for yourself. I can easily fulfill your request, but the task progress would suffer greatly. Wait, don't delete them yet. Fang Jueyu immediately stopped it. Xiaoyu was right, perhaps this was a stepping stone to open up his fame. Host, given your current slow task progress, completing the first phase of permission unlock within a year may be very difficult. Now initiating a large-scale task, do you wish to accept? Do I have a choice? Fang Jueyu was a bit surprised. According to the usual style in those novels, Such tasks were generally mandatory and failure resulted in penalties like obliteration. If I refuse, would you kill me? The system's maintenance requires energy and life from the host. The system will not do anything to harm the host's life. Xiaoya's words undoubtedly set Fang Jueyu's mind at ease. Refusing the task will only slow down your permission unlock speed. Well then, since that's the case, I'll accept. With no penalties involved, Fang Jueyu had no psychological burden to carry. Now distributing the large-scale task. Task content. Reduce your $500 billion liquid assets through normal spending in 1 year. Task reward. Unlocking permissions based on specific circumstances. What? Reduce my liquid assets? Isn't this task a bit too easy? Fang Jueyu found it strange. Isn't it just about spending money? How could this task qualify as a large-scale task? Host, to let you understand the status of your liquid assets, I will keep a real-time tally of this part of your liquid assets. In front of Fang Jueyu appeared a long string of numbers. He counted, and it turned out to be $500 billion. But in the next second, this number began to change dramatically. $5,000.05 billion, $5,000.1 billion, $5,000.08 billion, $5,000.12 billion. Almost every second, his $500 billion liquid assets fluctuated rapidly, sometimes decreasing, sometimes increasing, but it always slowly crept up at a rather slow pace. Although this proportion didn't seem much, with such a massive base, every second saw changes worth tens of millions of US dollars. Fang Jueyu hadn't even started spending money, yet in less than a minute, his liquid assets had increased by nearly $200 million. When could he ever reduce this money? Host, do you still find this task simple? Xiaoyi asked. What on earth is going on? This liquid fund of yours is always engaged in some liquid or short-term financial activities by your management team, and this money naturally keeps growing. If you don't start spending quickly, you'll never be able to spend even a penny off that initial $500 billion. Damn you, Fang Jueyu cursed. At this earning rate, he might have to spend a few billion US dollars a day to merely exhaust the daily profit. Moreover, international currency exchange rates are remarkably complex, and there could be a drastic fluctuation any day, possibly increasing his $500 billion by a few percent in an instant. In a regular family, they couldn't spend Fang Jueyu's minute-long profits in a whole lifetime. There was an interesting joke online before about the owner of Alibaba wanting to buy a sports car, and just like that, the money was enough. Now this situation was happening in real life with Fang Jueyu. In 3 seconds, the money his account increased by could buy any sports car in the world. Spending money is such a monumental task. Fang Jueyu sighed, realizing that after living for 20 years without worrying about earning money, he was now vexed over how to spend it. Oh well, as they say, the boat will straighten itself when it reaches the bridge. Fang Jueyu laughed bitterly, then got into his Maserati MC-12. Fang Jueyu, have you arrived? Just as he parked back at the venue, Fang Jueyu received a message from Gogh. I'm already at the venue. I just went for a meal with Professor Park and Principal Wang and now I'm back. Fang Jueyu replied. I see my performance starts at 3. You have to be there to support me. All right, I'll come over later. I'm still looking forward to that meal you promised me. As he chatted, a faint smile appeared on Fang Jueyu's face, one he hadn't seen in a long time. With an upcoming performance, Gogh should be doing makeup by now. Fang Jueyu decided not to disturb her and simply wandered around the venue. Fortunately, the hotel wasn't too close to the venue, and no one recognized Fang Jueyu, so he was free and at ease. There were lots of beautiful women at the convention, each with fair skin and long legs. Naturally, those confident enough to make appearances at major conventions like China Joy had a lot of confidence in their looks and figure. However, relatively speaking, Fang Jueyu was more interested in those anime figures, especially in the Mobile Soldier Gundam series. It seemed he had a mysterious obsession with them. A collection as vast as a wall in Death's Domain could cost as much as a house in Yanjing, already indicating the expensive price of figures. Previously, Fang Jueyu didn't have much money, and limited figures that cost thousands or even tens of thousands he could only admire. But now, it wouldn't be difficult to have a batch of one-scale models built around his villa. Waiter, I'll take all of these, pack them all up for me. I want this one too, yeah, I'll take one of each limited edition. Like a nouveau rich, Fang Jueyu was frantically buying. Luckily, there was a discount and they offered shipping services for large orders. Otherwise, with this pile of figures looking like a mountain, his sports car wouldn't be able to transport them. Hello, your total is $418,240. Will you be paying by card? The salesperson beamed with a bright smile, knowing that with such an opening day transaction, the commission would be substantial. By card. Fang Jueyu took out his black card, muttering, "This is way too cheap. It doesn't even touch the interest of the money I earned in these past minutes." In just half an hour, his funds had grown to $5,008.7 billion. In this short time, his assets had increased by nearly $1 billion, and in US dollars no less. "Send it to this address, please." Fang Jueyu left an address and walked out of the figure store, simultaneously dialing Zhuang Ying's number. "Xiao Ying, do you know how to contact the designers of the Gundam series in Sun Country? Also, help me hire some architects and mechanical engineers. I want to build a one Gundam model in my front yard." "Yes, just like the one in Odeba, Sun Country. I want an identical one." "What? Requirements?" "No requirements, just hire the most expensive ones and use the best and most expensive materials. I'm not short on money. The more expensive, the better." "What? Estimated 80 million RMB. No way, too cheap. Tell those designers to make changes and hopefully it can cost a few billion." "I'm not feverish. Nor am I sick.